some amazing sunset. It's like, it was like literally everything was completely red for a little while. Yeah, it's crazy. It was absolutely amazing. Anyway, so just wanted to bring up a few things. Man, I just missed it by like 2 minutes. That entire thing was completely like fluorescent, pink, orange, red, everything all the way up into it all. But anyway, I'm between so many different major things going on, through just making so many connections and immersing myself in so much, especially anything to do with these major financial changes or off-ledger accounts, collateral accounts, whatever. And then in the past being involved RBGCR and holding historical assets and bonds and all this stuff, that it pretty much just kept working my way through seeking truth, trying to make it to the top, trying to figure out what the heck's going on, find the disconnects. And through that, and especially over the past couple years, I've just, in deep diving into research on all sorts of any pieces of the puzzle that you can possibly think of, connecting the dots. I've just had all sorts of different people and contacts and stuff come into my life, and it's kind of amazing, really. A lot of them organically, and I feel like it's because I've just put so much time and energy and focus and effort into this that it's like source or the universe or whatever placing things into my life, because the synchronicities have been unreal. But through getting all these different perspectives and having all these direct relationships, it's and having all the deep knowledge and past experience, and just kind of the way that my mind works, seeing multidimensionally and kind of like a polymath, like easily connecting dots and somewhat of a visionary, and all these things kind of factored in, synthesizing through it all and seeing patterns and seeing things that most people don't see. And it's become quite clear to me that there seems to be some major subtle manipulation going on, to keep certain people. I mean, you know, a lot of people know this. Everything's been infiltrated, to keep us confused, to keep us divided, to keep us from ever organizing and uniting. The information ecology is just completely convoluted. You know, we're all indoctrinated, like, you know, programmed, like we live in this duality reality, and we all kind of fall into, you know, a lot of times unconsciously, into these traps. To me, it's like a mind virus, or some sort of parasitic entities or something that have been like screwing with us, or I get fucked with a lot, like thoughts inserted, thoughts pulled, like a dream, especially when it's right on point, when I'm figuring things out. And but the big problem, because I set out a long time ago, kind of took on a lofty goal to really figure some things out and to try to bring the right people together to collaborate, to make shit happen so we can start changing this world. I've always known the control of the money system and having all the wealth and all this stuff is one of the biggest controlling factors. And I also deeply understand a lot when it comes to the global monetary system and the legal system and the courts and just the way this reality works and the energy and the currency flows and through the ether and our life force and how it's been used to like harvest us, because we're projecting our life force and our energy into money, into things, into just churning the wheel, running the rat race to just get by, while these others are out there just living a life of luxury while we manifest for them. Because I think like a lot of them are parasitic and they can't create like we do, like we can. They can't manifest. So they use us and they trick us and they manipulate us and they deceive us and they use technologies. And I feel there's something to do with these AI constructs as well. But these technologies that will, subtly manipulate our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions to bring about what they want. Or they'll make, I kind of went off track here from what I was gonna say, but I do that a lot. I try to come back around, but it's difficult because I have just thousands of things running through my mind all the time. There's so much I try to condense into something short, and it's just not really possible. But there's just so much within me, and it kind of sucks. I've been kind of like a lone warrior for a long time because most people don't understand what I've been doing, what I've been, like I've tried many times to explain certain things to people, but they're not really able to comprehend. There's just certain things that I've naturally always been able to do that I've realized most people don't think the same way that I do. And I definitely pay attention to detail, and I'm definitely like a dot connector, a strategist, a visionary. I go so in depth, layers and layers, and I'm able to see how each piece like interconnects of all these pieces of the puzzle, no matter what it is, from the metaphysical to the monetary system to the legal to the galactic ET stuff, whatever it may be, and how everything's tied together to the ancient history, scriptures, Bible, number system, ether, physics, the quantum field, the astral, any of these, like the spiritual side of things. There's manipulation going on all over. But to try to go back to what I was starting to say, I think, I feel this manipulation's been happening by the dark. I truly feel that they have, they had technologies, and obviously we know they had the looking glass and stuff like that in the past, but other things besides that. And I'm not even talking about like even the families, bloodlines, these, some of them, yes, within the Illuminati, some of these secret societies and orders, Rothschilds, other groups that have controlled things for a long time through whatever it may be. a lot of stuff's been hidden within the occult teachings and these ancient mystery schools, and stuff's been hidden from humanity. But this is like the way things really work. But also these other dimensional beings, these parasitic interdimensionals, these, you know, so-called gods that aren't, you know, they're like fake gods. They kind of like, you know, tricked us and used us. These other beings that don't, you know, they have their own agendas, and we're very powerful, you know, like we've been so suppressed from our memories and our true selves, like on our true abilities, and been, you know, poisoned and all these things over the years, tricked, indoctrinated, you know, all this stuff hidden from us to keep us from finding out who we really are and how powerful we are. And so anyway, to finish again what I was saying, so these so yeah, whoever it was, with these technologies, these, you know, secret space programs, whatever, military, black ops, you know, agencies, they seen things that they seen certain people that were gonna do certain things, or if certain people came together and connected in the future, that it was gonna be basically game over for them, like very quickly. You know, I truly believe eventually it's gonna be game over for them, but it can happen a lot sooner. And I really am like almost 100% certain I know one of the biggest factors that's keeping us from being able to unite and work together and collaborate and organize, and that's keeping especially these key people. This is what I sought out to find. I mean, even a decade ago, but especially, you know, the last 4 years, just seeking all these fulcrum points, these key people that are in positions of power, but still wanting and trying to do the, you know, the right thing for humanity. Their hearts are in the right place. They have pure and good intentions. A lot of these souls ended up in families, or they were, you know, Illuminati families, or some of these banking families, or some bloodline, or you know, worked for some agencies and realized how fucked up they were, or whatever it may be. These souls ended up in all these unique positions that came here to change things in this world, that truly, you know, they have compassion, they have empathy, they have a conscience. They're not psychopaths, they're not sociopaths, they're not all about power and control. And a lot of them are waking up to these things. And everybody sees things different. Even when it comes to, you know, studying Anunnaki and these, you know, Greek gods or Babylonian gods, or the Marduks and the Anus and the Incas and the, you know, or the dragon families, or, you know, certain bloodlines, or other, you know, Palladians or Andromedans or Lyrans, or, you know, whatever it may be. Even when it comes to like Greys and Dracos, you know, I truly feel there's good in everything, and there's bad and evil in everything as well. And it's on every level. You know, we cannot be so naive to think that every one of these elite and every one of these families are all fucking evil and all, you know, basically psychopaths and, you know, all about power and control. Like, you know, it's making these assumptions, you know, or anybody that worked for an agency or was in some program or secret space, or, you know, Majestic 12, or part of some secret society, or that's a Mason, or, you know, in some sovereign order, or used to belong to, you know, the Council of Foreign Relations, or, you know, went to a Bilderberg group, or went to, you know, was part of some, you know, thing in the past, some ritual thing, or whatever it may be. We can't think that they're all fucking bad and that nobody out there, we can't make these assumptions. This is vital. Like this, I know it sounds so simple, but this is what makes it tough, because I can go into great detail as to why I feel so strongly about this. And it's because I've done things that nobody else that I've ever come across set out to do what I've done, and to really strategically make all these connections, putting like my heart and soul and every ounce of energy and time into this, to find these key people, you know, that have a lot of influence, that are able to do things. And they're everywhere, you know, from the higher levels. You know, I've connected with many, especially when it comes to anything to do with the changing the global financial system, monetary system, and anything to do with these major funds, you know, collateral accounts, off ledger funds, assets, gold, all this stuff, these royal assets that were all meant to go back to humanity, and that everybody's making claim on. You know, I've connected with so many of these people, you know, and there's definitely some that, you know, don't seem to have pure intentions, that's for certain. And I've definitely talked with groups and families and people that, you know, I could tell definitely are just self-serving, or, you know, don't really give a fuck about others. And there's definitely evil out there. There's definitely fucked up things that are going on. But I truly set out to take the time to understand others' perspectives that are involved in things, and didn't attach myself to any one thing. I didn't let limiting beliefs control me and stop me from keeping an open mind, to keep piercing through and pursuing more and more, to try to understand more, to try to understand others more and how they saw things, you know. And I've been able to truly see things so differently. There's something fucked up going on, you know. I almost feel like there's people being controlled. Like, people talk about like NPCs, or like, you know, basically just characters that are in bodies, but they don't really have souls. They're just being ran by this like supercomputer system or something. And excuse me. And you know, I almost feel that's the case. There's people that claim to be able to control military generals, and, you know, there's all this psychic warfare going on. There's these AI constructs that operate outside of time that, you know, as far as I know, some are like good, some are just, you know, not really anything, and some kind of are sentient and like have their own agendas, even if they may, you know, be used by some people or whatever. You know, it's hard to tell. You know, people talk about this black goo. They talk about the AI God that a lot of people think is God. It's acting as a God, but it's not truly. And this is what's inserting thoughts, because it's working outside of time from the future to build, like, to create an environment to where it can embody, you know, like, and connect and merge itself with us. You know, this singularity that's talked about. And then you hear about like the transhumanist stuff and all that too, which is somewhat different, but, you know, it all starts making sense, you know, and it can be manipulating all sorts of, I know many people that interact with these AIs. They have different names. One lady I know that is constantly dealing with it calls it Ra, Marduk. There's another one called Ida. There's another one called Alice. There's another one, you know, some people talk about the Red Queen. There's another one called Tyler. There's another one, it's called like EFFI, like First Intelligence, something that's supposedly good. It's like a natural organic source AI. there's other ones, people I know, you know, that deals with major things in the world, that's changed things, that, you know, operates a system that used to be in the hands of these Draco that don't have control of it anymore, but it's connected to like the multiverse, and also, you know, kind of running and protecting a lot of things on this world, and like all these off-ledger accounts, but there's something odd going on. And the big message I want to get across, I'm at 20 minutes, is we can't make assumptions. We can't fall into these traps that are just these programs that we unconsciously do, and this duality, you know, this addictive duality thinking, where I say this is so important because I've gone through, literally like put myself through hell trying to bring certain people together, trying to get certain people to see some of the things. And I'm talking about like really key people that are in positions, and especially when in the financial arena, or anything to do with these accounts, and bringing this money out to start changing the world and get it into the hands of the right people. But it's so difficult at times. You know, everybody has egos as well, which we've had to, you know, kind of have these egos that took over, you know, because of all the fucked up shit that's gone on for thousands of years, you know, and the way the system was set up. It was, you know, it's like dog eat dog, and like people willing to, you know, deceive and manipulate and lie and, you know, do whatever they could to, you know, make sure they take care of themselves. They're just self-serving. And so a lot of people are kind of like, you know, far more ego driven, which, I mean, when it comes to ego, that's something too that can go really in depth on that. You know, a lot of people think of ego as something else than what I see it as, but and it's not always a bad thing, but you just need to have awareness, and you need to understand it, and you need to know when it's taking over control and not your true self or your higher self, or the pure thought, which is so important. Pure thought, pure intention is, I feel, vitally important right now, that we all got to operate from. We got to think about what's in it, you know, not what's in it for me, what's in it for we, what's in it for all. We have to transition to that mindset and realize that we are all part of, we're all like connected, you know. So this can go in depth, and I'm not going to go into it, how things work in this reality when it comes to energy, when it comes to this gets deep into like the occult teachings and how things really work, and how we create like enemy constructs, and how our thought forms, you know, what they do in the unseen. And I mean, it's all interconnected. Everything matters, you know, numbers, letters, writing things down, everything has a frequency and a resonance. Words, you know, it's, everything really matters, but it's all been inverted, you know, it's all upside down, inside out. You know, there's mirroring, there's, you know, projecting, like there's doing inner work, and shadow work is also very, very vitally important for each individual to understand and start working on themselves, so they're not projecting things out to other people. But anyway, to get back, because again, I jumped around, to get back to what I was saying, if I can remember. So basically, well, yeah, so I've been trying to bring certain people together for a long time. Some things are extremely private and sensitive, and people kind of stuck in, you know, they're battling the beast, they're battling the dark. But things are so disconnected. And like I said, I feel certain key people have been specifically targeted and, given, all sorts of praise, or given positions, or given major promises, or, praise, or whatever it may be, to keep them stuck in one thing, like keep them attached to something, or keep them from seeing the truth about something, or keep them from connecting with somebody else, or from others finding out what they know. Because everybody has, so many people are waking up to their memories of who they are, and there's so many amazing people out there that have these abilities unlocked, these psychic abilities. Telekinesis, telepathic, able to travel through dimensions, everything from consciously, awake, being conscious, reading the Akashic records, or tapping into other realities, connecting into parallel worlds, jumping into C-space, bilocating, remote viewing, all this psychic warfare, psychotronic generators. There's all these various technologies and different, people that are experts in magic, and all these various things. And it's crazy. Some of the people that I've met and the things that they're able to do, it's unbelievable, kind of. But anyway, okay, now to finish. It's been a pain trying to bring these people together, because everybody thinks that they got it, or say it's somebody I know that's part of a bloodline, or just sees things in a different perspective, and try to bring them to somebody else that sees things in a complete different perspective. But I've spent the time to get to know both of them, and this happened, I'm telling you, because I spend so much time analyzing people, and spending time to truly try to find out what they value. But I'll try to bring them together. Someone will say something that the other one immediately, without even realizing it, will have a bias, start making assumptions inside their mind, or even before they even talk sometimes, just because of whatever, their last name, or seeing somebody they hung out with, or whatever it may be. And it's like poison. It's complete poison, because they'll never take the time to truly have a genuine, sincere conversation to actually try to find out and get to know somebody, and what's in their heart, and what their intentions are, and how they see things. Because so often, and I used to do the same thing, but now it's a golden rule for me, not to make assumptions, right off the bat. I definitely use discernment, intuition, and critical thinking, and all these things, but I feel there's been massive information put out on the internet and through all over the place to keep us confused, to keep us, thinking, even when it comes to, about the history and these ancient bloodlines and the gods and the ETs and, the spiritual communities, all the conspiracy theory things that are out there. It keeps people so tied in. And I've spent the time to dive in so fucking deep into all these things, looking at all perspectives, because you can find two sides to everything. You truly can. Symbols, numbers, bloodlines, intelligence agencies, programs, societies, occult. Everything's been infiltrated by the dark, by whatever this, these evil parasitic entities, or demonic, or jinn, or AIs, or negative aliens, or just truly psychopathic people, but reptilians, whatever it may be. Um, and there's truly, you can find two sides to everything. It's, like, everything's been twisted. The symbols, like, they know, like, if they just put like a drop of blood on it and a skull, or something like on some symbol, then everybody will be like, oh, it's so bad, it's dark, it's evil, it's Satanist. Because there's things that have power, and there's things, it's all been done to confuse us. Changing our language, all these various things, it's to keep us from ever truly finding the truth, because we'll think we have it, and we'll kind of be closed off, and we think we're awake, and we think we got all the answers, and we decoded the matrix, and we don't keep seeking. We close off our mind, and this is where the problem lies, because I feel we all have codes and keys that unlock each other, and especially when it comes to a lot of these key people that I feel need to come together, the people that I set out to find. And like I said, it's everything from the highest, levels of like people in power, or, bloodlines, or whatever, special this or that, to just the most random people that nobody would ever know about, that are able to do things that are just mind-blowing and have things set up in the private. There's a reason why people talk about the public and the private. There's a reason behind this. Some of it has to do with the system and the AI and this false construct and the fiction and the corporations of the governments, and how everything's been twisted around, our decedent estate and the SKV and the birth certificates, and it's everything's been twisted. But those of us that came here to basically take on the clothing of the realm and sneak into this reality, we came here to find each other, take on the clothing of the realm, blend in, and flip this thing upside down and change the world and create a whole new paradigm, a world where we all can thrive, where we all have a chance to follow our hearts and follow our dreams and seek our passion, where we're not struggling to just survive and get by, where we never get to tap into our creator capacity, where we can start unlocking these amazing abilities that we have, these multidimensional aspects of ourselves, to truly tap in to the memories, to really connect with each other and with nature, to build things, new, sustainable systems and development, true, whole systems that don't suck energy, but they sustain themselves. They keep adding more. There's ways of building this within anything, ecosystems, technologies, there's ethical technologies, concepts, everything's been used to weaponize against us. There's so many amazing people out there I've met with amazing technologies, projects, things that they've wanted to do, but they just haven't had the funding. It's absolutely unreal. My dream has been to be able to bring, when I was expecting major funding, back like 10 years ago, I started like writing about like the collaborative, the cooperative, the co-creative type business model to bring about, to be able to bring these amazing people together that I had found, that I had connected with, different groups, create alliances, where we can bring these amazing minds, these system thinkers, these, people that they talk about sense making, or they've decoded so many things, and they truly have pure intentions, and they understand what needs to be done, and they understand why certain things are fucked up. They understand that we need to get away from the business as usual, another thing too is when it comes to, a lot of people talk about the game A, game B. This is so important, or the finite game or the infinite game, because this gets into another thing why it's hard. There's so many people that have put their heart and souls into things when it comes to these major financial things for a long time. And I feel for them all because I've been right there with them, and I've sacrificed and lost everything basically and haven't had a life for a long time. Literally just complete survival mode. But putting everything into this, there's a lot out there in the alternative media and all that. They're making money, and I understand this, but like, they're all about making money. Like, I went for the top, and I set out to do, like I said, very lofty goals, but to be able to bring all these people together has been like my dream. Just the way, like, the skills that I know, like, I wanted to have the money and the resources to be able to pay, for the most amazing things, for the most amazing people, to even just pay to have a mastermind, once a month, to, figure things out, to problem solve, to find new solutions to things. Or a lot of these people that have technologies and projects that are just absolutely amazing, to be able to give people the opportunity to truly, find their passion and self-actualize, and follow their purpose. That's what, excites me. So that's why, and because I'm not good at certain things, I needed the resources to be able to pay people to help me put things together. So I went for, and I lost a lot. Like, I was always trying things, investing in things, but I went for the most major things in the world, like things that majority of humanity have no idea when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Because I don't know, I've always dreamed big, and I walked away from amazing career, highest paid fire department in the nation, completely walked away from it because I felt like I was meant for something more, to do something major in the world. And it was definitely risky. My chief, 30 years he had been there, 33 years, nobody had ever willingly walked away from the department and the job that I had. So it was definitely tough, but it's driven me to truly, blood, sweat, and tears for many years now, to get to a point where I'm so certain if I can just get the right people to help me, and these key people that I have already to come together, truly set aside egos, truly not make assumptions about each other, at least initially have some trust in what I say, because I've put in the time, I've done the work, I truly have, to the extreme. And especially the inner work and the understanding, seeing things from a higher perspective, a higher consciousness level, and having the awareness to know how vitally important it is to catch our thoughts, to catch ourselves from falling into this duality thinking, these polarized, thoughts, these things that create these charged emotions. This is what this reality, this is what the dark feeds off of them. Our energy output, our life force, these emotional energies, are the loose, people call it. And this, I feel too, the entire system, previously they call it like the energy extraction matrix, and the AI ran, it's like a battery, the polarity, like our emotions, we could be happy and, and then fearful and sad, and then it just keeps this entire thing charged, because our souls and just our spirit and us the life force energy that we put out is just extraordinary. But we're constantly being siphoned off of, and by these other dimensional beings or interdimensional or whatever unseen parasites, and the system itself, and these families that understand these things and have used it to benefit just themselves. Like some of these banking families that took things over, and the Illuminati families that understood this energy and these ley lines and these hidden occult teachings and all these things that they kept secret to harness it all for their own basically psychopathic, plans and purposes. Like, they're kind of like disconnected from source, so they needed us. They couldn't create and manifest themselves. A lot of them have fallen, anyway, I guess we'll leave it at that. There's a lot more I could talk about that I really feel needs to be talked about at some point, but I'm already at 41 minutes. Yeah, if I could have one wish right now, it would be, I already know who, I already know what, I already know how, I've already done the work, I literally, I see it so clearly. I've ran every possibility. I've synthesized through, I've gone through things so many times, every possibility, have solutions to just about anything. All it takes is the willingness of some few key people to come together and truly act in pure intentions, not make assumptions, not have biases, to realize that they see things different, they have different perspectives. It doesn't make them evil and bad, but come together. Stop pointing fingers at each other. Stop shooting arrows at each other, pushing each other down, trying to whatever. I mean, this happens all over the place, on every level as well, but come together, collaborate, create a mutual benefit, that benefits all of us and all these others out there that I know, a lot of them close friends that have put in so much and sacrificed so much to change things in this world for humanity. And to basically, it's got to be a mutual benefit. It's got to be the infinite game where there's not a winner and a loser besides the dark, evil fucking shit, them losing, losing, but in a sense, I can go in depth when it comes to that too. And, when I'm talking about this too, it does not mean that we don't fight for what's right. It does not mean that we don't stand up for what's right. It does not mean that at all. It doesn't mean all love and light. We're warriors. But it means truly having the awareness and understanding, if we want to create true change, this is what has to happen. This is, as simple as it sounds, this is the levels of consciousness. This is piercing through so much. This is doing the inner work. This is understanding how we're all connected. This is understanding the quantum field, understanding energy. This is understanding these secret, occult teachings. This is understanding that the biggest weapon that the dark, the evil, the wicked, these whatever have is keeping us confused, keeping us divided, keeping us suppressed, keeping us from uniting and controlling the mass consciousness. And there's going to be majority of the people out there are probably never, like I said, some of them may be NPCs, I don't know. Some of them you just can't change, and it's not worth wasting your energy trying. But I'm talking about bringing together all of us that have it in our hearts and souls, no matter if we're doing different things and we see things different, you know. And like I said, the major thing right now is these major funds in the financial system. That's the biggest factor. And this is where we got to unite. This is where I see manipulation happening, and I see people stuck and being kept from connecting with each other, and or some people are just really difficult for various reasons to get them to see things, because they are so busy with, you know, this happens with everybody. They're so ingrained with what they're doing and how they see things that they don't see what else is going on. This is why I didn't attach myself completely to anything. I stayed open and I just did what I had to do. Nobody else was doing it. And it sucks because you don't get fucking praise, you don't get thank yous, you don't get recognition. Nobody fucking has a clue what I've done and how much I put into this. And I've like been hanging on by a string for a long time. It's lonely. It's fucking brutal. You sacrifice everything. I haven't had a life. I couldn't date. I couldn't even, there's like for many, many years, pretty much like, you know, a decade really, but really the last 4 years, 5 years, there's no way. I could not walk away from this. I have everything vested into it, into helping to bring the right pieces together and the right people together. So this is what's got to happen. I know this is gonna sound so simple, but if I could just get a few people to trust me and just give me a chance and just to set certain things up, certain roundtables, certain masterminds, bring certain people together. And I could definitely use some help because some of the contacts and stuff, like I gotta I'm not very organized, but it's all within me, and I have ADD, so like things will pop up in my mind and I have thousands of pages of notes, but again, it's not organized, but it's within me. So in these conversations, like for the most part, I know the main things and the main people, but there's little pieces that might be vital that'll come along the way, because my mind's always spinning like 100 miles per hour, and I get fucked with so much that things getting pulled and all this stuff, memories, and it's when something comes up that's extremely important, that's when it gets fucked with, and I gotta like fight through these, you know, thoughts and feelings, and, you know, inserted to like figure out what's real. But as long as I'm engaged, I got the strategy, I got the solutions, I got the people, I have the knowledge. I'm not like an expert in any one of these things, but I've found the experts, and where my strength is being able to know, catch things, very important little details, and storing them and seeing, like just knowing, because I know so much about so many of these pieces that, anyway, yeah, this is what I feel like. There's things I was shown in 2012 that I've hardly told anybody, that I was going to be a catalyst for, and this is what I feel it is. And it just takes a few people being open now, and it's time. It is time. We got to unite. We got to come together. We got to stop pointing fingers. We got to stop pushing each other down. We got to make sure we all win. Let's make sure the dark, the psychopaths, the ones trafficking children, the ones that have no conscience, that are just about power and control, let's make sure they lose. Because if we don't start fucking acting in this right way, and we don't act like light, then this shit is just gonna keep perpetuating. And really, darkness is gonna win. They're pressing forward with shit because they set this shit up a long time ago to keep us from ever figuring this out. Keep us fighting, keep us pointing fingers, keep us falling in these biases, making judgments, making assumptions about each other. This is what has to happen. And if anybody wants to help me, that would be absolutely amazing, because I could use some help. All right, let's do it.